Well, I was going to have a fun day in the snow with the Ranger and the pontoons. Couldn't fly where I wanted to, was short on time, was kind of windy and cold and miserable, but I thought, what the heck, I'm going to fly in this little place. Well, I'm going to take you through the flight, the disaster, the repair, and then the flight that it should have been. So, we've had a nice snow yesterday. Don't get them very often. And I wanted to try out my Ranger with pontoons in the snow. Now, so you look around, this is not my normal flying field. It's windy. It's a really short field. Everything I was saying on some of my beginner series, this is fraught with disaster. Yeah, don't do this. If you have to fly in stability mode, you're going to be in big trouble here because we got to make a lot of tight turns. Curious how this guy is going to perform. I'm going to go high rates just so I have all the throws I need. Wind is pretty significant, so we'll see how this goes. Oh yeah, she takes off no problem. The wind is bouncing her around quite a bit. Definitely got to fly with a lot of speed.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Got my hands full a little bit, trying to keep it in this tight spot. Kind of fun though, to be able to play around with it like this. All right, let's see what she does on landing. Oh. Little cross breeze, kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Okay. Let's try landing again. Hard part is this turn right here. Backing off throttle. There we go. Eyes are watering from the wind, cold wind. It's about 15 degrees, maybe 19, maybe, regardless. It's cold. Oh, boy, screwed that up. Thought I was a little further over than I was. Dang it. Fraught with disaster. There you go. See what happened. We ripped apart the plane pretty good. Fraught with disaster. Do what I say, not what I do. I think that's pretty. Alright. Let's unplug her. Oh, that's too bad. Busted her up a little bit. But on all, and we know where the struts are. There's one, and there's the other. Look around for any more parts. Oh, dang it. I really hated to do that. But it might make some good YouTube content. Wings busted in half. It's fixable. For the most part, not a big deal. Just misjudged on the space. Fraught with disaster. Dang it. So I do what I normally do. I bring it back to the shop and start working on it piece by piece. Let me say something. So the Ranger wing, doesn't have a spar, like a carbon fiber or fiberglass spar going through to connect the two wings. They just connect with screws. Slots go in, you hook them together. They rely on those struts. So on these wings, what happened was, the struts got ripped out and the wings just folded. So all of those connections where they normally connect ripped off. They were nice, clean brakes. Wasn't a big deal. E6000 lightly brushed on, put them together, pins to kind of hold everything in place, and that was done. The next part is the tail section. So remove the tail because the elevator, as you can see, half of it got yanked off. Now, half of it, there is a connector piece between the elevator's plastic, and it broke. So using E6000 and basically a fillet of E6000 around that brake and kept building that up to kind of create a little bit more strength. And then I used welders for the actual foam hinge. Tested it a lot, and actually it works fantastic. So, pretty surprised at how well that turned out. As I said, the struts hold the wing, basically hold the wings on. Without those, the wings will just fold up. Now, so both of those, the attachment points, basically ripped out of the fuselage, and the other attachment point ripped out of the wing. One of the struts, the actual tab that screws in, that's on the wing side, it actually snapped. So it was gone. Well, not gone. It was still retained in the screw. But what had to happen there was, first, I glued all the attachments into the fuselage and reattached the larger plastic piece into the wing with E6000. One of the struts was totally fine. It was basically, I could slide it right back in and we're good to go. The other one required a lot of work. So E6000, I use that a lot. I let that kind of settle up, but it was just a quick glue joint. I didn't trust it a whole lot. So instead, in addition to, took some epoxy and some carbon fiber tow, scuffed everything up, cleaned it with alcohol, and then laid a thin layer of carbon fiber tow. That actually solved the problem pretty darn well. So after all of that reconstruction, put everything back together, kind of did a little stress test on it that morning, let it dry overnight, and packed up the car and headed over to my field, the big field with wide open spaces, Booter Park. Have some more fun in the snow. Hopefully she'll stay held together. Hopefully that E6000 will do a good job and keep her together. Got a lot of wind kind of pushing on her hard. Gonna go up and do a loop and hope she holds together. And she does. Well, she's bouncing all over though. That wind. Good looking plane, and what you get, you're looking to teach somebody how to fly. Not a bad option. As my series that I did on this plane kind of talk about it. Pick a right plane. Pontoons affect her a little bit, not too bad, just slow on everything. She's just a little cumbersome, a little different than what she's like without the massive pontoons on her. I do enjoy just doing those low flybys. When you're flying in the wind like this, you can see the wind's getting pushed, or the plane's getting pushed all over. You gotta get on your throttle a lot more than you would normally, or else you won't have control over. Gotta have some speed in some of those turns, especially that downwind turn right there. Here we got another one right here. This turn right here can get a little sketchy if you don't have the speed. Try to get her to sink there. Pulled back on throttle, and you saw she was dropping quite a bit. Have to get on that throttle quite a bit. Prevent that sinking. That's what happens when you're flying in these winds. You know, the plane's just not going to respond. It's going to bounce all over. Try to grease a landing's a little tougher.
Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you could, do me a favor. Hit that like button there. It helps me out, helps me know I'm doing the right stuff. Thanks. Have a great day.
Alright, let's try to get her in close. Oh, wind just flopped it.